Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Hari Prasad from the Department of Biophysics, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. I am going to talk to you today about the Introduction to Techniques in Molecular Biophysics from the paper Techniques in Molecular Biophysics Part 1. Now, what are the learning objectives of this particular module? We would be learning the Introduction to Techniques in Molecular Biophysics, biological macromolecules and challenges in studying them, the whole purpose of biophysical techniques, concentration of solution, shape of the molecule, molecular weight, effect of temperature and activation energy, Ostwald viscometer and applications of viscometry to biopolymer structure and estimation of molecular weight, structural characterization of DNA and proteins. We would also be learning measurement of viscosity using viscometer and clinical applications of viscometry, centrifugation, introductions, principles and types of centrifugation that are differential, density, gradient centrifugation, rate zonal size separation and isopyonic centrifugation. We would also be learning and getting insights into ultracentrifugation, preparative ultracentrifugation, analytical centrifugation. Then we would go on to learn chromatography. What is chromatography? Its introduction, the types and principles, methodology, applications of chromatography, and the different types like gel filtration chromatography, ion exchange chromatography, affinity chromatography, and what's happening today in terms of chromatography in the module recent trends in chromatography. We would also be getting an insight into paper chromatography and thin layer chromatography, where we would be learning about partition, adsorption, gas, liquid and column chromatography. Electrophoresis, the different types of electrophoresis, their principles, methods and applications, and under the category of agarose gel electrophoresis, SDS page, two-dimensional electrophoresis, and finally electrophoretic mobility shift assay. We would then go on to understand aspects of proteomics. What is it that is required to prepare a good sample? Gel-based proteomics, non-gel-based proteomics, and clinical applications under clinical proteomics. We would also be learning about mass spectrometry, introduction, principles, instrumentation, application, and trends in mass spectrometry. Surface plasma resonance, its principles, methodology, applications, and finally aspects of peptide synthesis. And under this, we would be understanding the definition, methodology, and its various applications. Now, before we get into techniques in molecular biophysics, we need to understand what biophysics is, especially the aspect of molecular biophysics. Molecular biophysics pertains to the structure-function relationship of proteins, the qualitative and quantitative expression of proteins in different tissues in various pathophysiological conditions. Its applications has got vast impact in basic research and translational research. It has plenty of scope to be introduced in the undergraduate medical curriculum and as an optional internship program. The interface of medicine and engineering holds the key to unravel molecular phenomena leading to new therapeutics and diagnostics, which are the core aspects of patient management. And as a reason, I have come out with this acronym for biophysics, that is, biological integration of physics in health, yielding to significant increase in comprehension of medical sciences. If you students are interested more on understanding aspects of biophysics and translational research, you can go in detail into the papers that have been published in this particular area by me in the last few years. Introduction to techniques in molecular biophysics. Biological systems on this planet operate through a number of molecular functions that take place at a cellular level. Scientific research therefore pertains to the study of these molecules. Information of these molecules helps to understand the biological organisms, including the human body, better in a way as to understand the biological functions and develop appropriate therapeutics. Deviations from these functions lead to abnormalities called as the disease. The modulation of functions in a way to regain physiological state is the purpose of pharmacological intervention. Nowadays, you have sophistication in terms of equipment, access to information, and advancements of in technology have led to a lot of advancements in research. Techniques in molecular biophysics therefore becomes very relevant and very important. Even as Professor Watson and Professor Crick discovered the structure of DNA, simultaneously there came about a platform to understand the sequence or the way in which the four nucleotides were arranged in different genes. This led to the development of the Human Genome Project. The Human Genome Project was envisaged by Professor Francis Collins. This was thought to revolutionize the understanding of the human body in a way as to help clinicians understand the disease and also develop appropriate small molecular based therapeutics. In a sense, genomics was the very foundation for understanding of molecules at the cellular level. However, the static nature helped to develop what you call as transcriptomics, which described the total amount of messenger RNA that were expressed by a particular organism or a tissue in the human body at a particular point of time. But this platform too had its own limitations because RNA is very labile and gets degraded by the RNases, and also the alternative splicing wherein different exons on the genome combine in different ways to give different set of proteins. The onus then came on understanding the expression of proteins, which are the effector molecules of the genome. Expression proteomics is all about understanding the differential expression of proteins in various clinical settings and understanding them in a perspective as to help know the disease ailment better. Once these proteins have been understood, you go on to understand the function of these proteins and the way they function to either cause a disease or cause the sequel of a particular disease. This is called as functional proteomics. Once a particular protein is established to be the key molecule in the implication of a disease, it then qualifies as a drug target. You then have the field of structural biology, which helps us to design molecules. These could either be small molecules or peptides that bind or modulate the function of these drug target proteins in a way as to get back the human body state from the pathological to the physiological state. Therefore, these molecules could therefore be potential drug molecules that have been designed based on the rationale of structure-based drug design. We therefore have an array of molecules right from DNA, genes, messenger RNA, proteins, and small molecules that constitute what you call as the biological macromolecules that are there in the human body, and these macromolecules should and has to be studied in a way as to have an implication on health and medicine. When we talk about understanding the techniques, we first need to understand what these biological macromolecules are and what are the challenges that are there in the study of biological macromolecules. Biological phenotypes and body functions are a result of a complex network and interactions between genes, proteins, and small molecules. The expression and regulation of the genomic content, which is the blueprint, is very dynamic, and therefore the characterization of these molecules in multidimensional approach comprises the understanding of the structure, function, and expression. Some of the molecules are in low concentration in the human body, and we therefore need techniques that help us to isolate these proteins in a way as to structurally and functionally characterize them. For the purpose of research, these molecules need to be separated, purified, and then studied. We therefore need effective biophysical techniques and instrumentation in order to characterize these molecules. Now, what are the advancements in techniques in molecular biophysics? Use of state-of-art equipment and instrumentation. The need to increase the sensitivity, accuracy, and the decreased turnaround time of the instruments used. The access, storage, use, and processing of bioinformation has led to a lot of advancement. There is super specialization and an increased skill in the human workforce. And today, you have greater networking between the researchers, clinicians, and engineers, which is important to develop techniques to understand a particular disease and treat a disease. And of course, you have the development of tissue banks and storage of micropathogens, which is integral in such population-based studies. Multidimensional approach to answer health-related issues. We are making rapid strides in the fields of stem cell research and nanotechnology. And even as I speak, the longevity and the disease-free state is a universally unifying incentive. And finally, the complementation of these biotechniques helps us to enhance the molecular knowledge. Now, what is the purpose of studying biophysical techniques? You have purification using techniques such as chromatography and centrifugation. 2. You can separate out molecules based on techniques such as chromatography and centrifugation. Molecular weight estimation is possible using electrophoresis and chromatography. You can identify the proteins using techniques such as mass spectrometric analysis. Interaction analysis using electromobility shift assay. Then structural characterization using viscometry and mass spectrometry. Biomarker discovery using clinical proteomics, and proof of isolation using mass spectrometry and electrophoresis combined with antibody-based assays. Concentration of solution, shape, molecular weight, temperature, and activation energy. Under this particular module, one will be studying the concentration of solution, atomic mass, and molecular weight. Dependence of rate of reactions on concentration, temperature, and catalyst. Catalyst and reaction pathway of the catalyst. Enzyme, its substrate, and enzyme-substrate complex. Structure, composition, and properties of matter. Relation between mass and number of atoms and molecules. Temperature and its effect on accelerating the rate of a reaction. Gibbs energy equilibrium constant of a reaction, and finally activation energy and effective collision. Viscosity. Under this particular module, we will be trying to understand viscosity and effect of temperature on viscosity, Ostwald viscometer, applications of viscometer in biomedical engineering, uses of viscometer in biomolecular characterization, viscometry in determining the molecular weight of a polymer, DNA denaturation and viscosity, unstable proteins and viscosity, and finally clinical applications of viscometry. Centrifugation. Under this particular topic, we would be trying to understand centrifugation, its concepts and principles, theory of operation, centrifugal force, types of rotors and centrifuges, differential centrifugation and density gradient centrifugation, rate zonal size separation, isopynic centrifugation, ultracentrifugation, preparative ultracentrifugation, analytical ultracentrifugation and sedimentation velocity, applications of centrifugation to study biomolecules, and finally, important aspects that pertain to the care of centrifuge machines and rotors. Chromatography. Under this particular module, one would be understanding chromatography from the aspect of introduction, history, concepts, and principles. Factors affecting chromatographic separations, types of chromatography, gel chromatography and its principles, media, buffer, and applications, ion exchange chromatography and its principles, methods, and applications, affinity chromatography and its principles, methods, and applications, high performance liquid chromatography, its principles, applications, and detection, reverse phase chromatography, recent trends and advancements in the field of chromatography, and finally, applications of chromatography. Gas chromatography. Under this particular module, one would be understanding gas chromatography from the perspective of introduction, concept, and principles, components of gas chromatography, detectors used in gas chromatography, instrumentation and methodology, factors affecting gas chromatography, derivatization in gas chromatography, applications of gas chromatography, demonstration of gas chromatographic experiment, sample chromatograms, and finally, application of gas chromatography study biomolecules. Electrophoresis. Under the topic of electrophoresis, we would be getting into the details of four different types of electrophoresis. Agarose gel electrophoresis, and we would be discussing the introduction, principles, methodology, and applications. Second, sodium diodyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis or SDS page, and under this we would be understanding the introduction, principles, methodology, and applications. Third, two-dimensional electrophoresis along with the Dyge technique. Here we would be understanding it from the perspective of introduction, principles, methodology, and applications. And finally, 4, the electrophoretic mobility shift assay, and we will be learning in details on its introduction, principles, methodology, and applications. Here we try to give a brief insight into the electrophoresis that we are going to learn by a pictorial description. First, we have the agarose gel electrophoresis that is used to run and study about aspects of the DNA. Second, we have SDS page where we understand the molecules of called as proteins. In the third, you have a 2D or a two-dimensional electrophoresis where we again separate out the molecule called as protein based on two dimensions. And finally, you have what you call as the EMSA or the electrophoretic mobility shift assay, where we study about the interaction between the DNA and the protein. Proteomics. In this particular topic, we will be studying it as introduction, necessity and emergence of proteomics, sample preparation, gel-based proteomics, non-gel-based proteomics, clinical proteomics, and under this, we would be getting an insight into patient screening, biomarker discovery and validation, applications and uses of proteomics, usefulness of mass spectrometry in proteomics, and finally, the advantages and disadvantages of various techniques in proteomics. Clinical proteomics. To understand the principles of clinical proteomics, it is important to understand that we live in a world where there is an array in terms of the population and a wide variety which constitute the phenotype of the human body. This particular human body is exposed to a variety of environmental conditions and factors. Most importantly, the different types of food that we eat, the different types of pathogens that we are exposed to that cause a wide variety of diseases, and finally, the number of synthetic molecules that we consume that constitute the drug molecules as therapy for diseases. Now, the question that we are asking is, when we have such a wide variety of population across the globe who are exposed to different type of environmental conditions, it gives about a different combinations of probability of how the body responds. When you say body response, we also need to understand the molecular events that are taking place at a cellular level. One of the most important aspects then become how the genes are regulated through the effector molecules called as proteins. Clinical proteomics therefore pertains to the understanding of the different protein signatures or the protein expression that could be seen in different tissues in different clinical scenarios, either with respect to disease or with an exposure to an environmental factor. This particular field, that is the proteomics, therefore is closely related to understanding the human body better and in a way as to impact health and medicine. Mass spectrometry. In this particular module, we would be learning about its introduction, history, evolution, and principles, fundamental operations in mass spectrometer, types of mass spectrometer, resolution, dynamic range, and mass accuracy, construction and working of liquid chromatography coupled with mass spectrometry, working of quadrupoles, fragmentation process and signal acquisition, HPLC and method validation, applications of mass spectrometer, and finally, recent trends and advancements in mass spectrometer. Paper chromatography and layer chromatography. In this particular module, one would be learning about the principles of planar chromatography and thin layer chromatography, principles of thin layer chromatography, planar chromatographic process, applications of planar and thin layer chromatography, factors affecting thin layer chromatography, and finally, we would be demonstrating with an illustrative example of amino acid separation by paper chromatography. Surface plasma resonance studies. In this particular module, we would be learning about molecules that interact with one another to execute a function, SPR as an assistance to establish and learn about this association in vitro, its introduction and principles of SPR, the instrumentation, methods and techniques involved in SPR studies, immobilization on sensor chip, amine, thiol and aldehyde based, immobilization on nickel NTEA chip, SA dextran chip, L1 chip and HPA chip, kinetic study of biomolecular interaction, association and dissociation constants, application of SPR, and we would be demonstrating it with an example on the use of surface plasma resonance. Peptide synthesis. In this particular module, we would first be defining peptide and the basic elements that constitute a peptide. We would describe the amino acids and the types of amino acids, conformation of peptide and peptide bond, methodology in peptide synthesis, protection and deprotection of amino group, carbodiimide coupling, acyl halide and pseudo halide coupling, solution and solid phase synthesis, peptides as inhibitors, and finally, we would be understanding the advantages of peptides over small molecules as drugs. What are the possible fallouts of studying techniques in molecular biophysics? 1. Better approach to benchwork related experiments. 2. Clarity on the use of application of techniques. 3. Provides a simple and a protocol driven flow that is easy to understand. 4. Provides a comprehensive platform to understand other subjects. 5. Biophysics is perceived as a subject relating to translational research. And finally, 6. Clinicians will have a better insight to aspects relating to bio research. So students, let us now summarize what we have learned about this particular module, that is Introduction to Molecular Biophysics. 1. Techniques in molecular biophysics is an important component in the current research in life sciences. Isolation and characterization of molecules such as DNA and proteins give valuable information on the biological phenotype. Viscometry, centrifugation, chromatography, electrophoresis, proteomics, and mass spectrometry are important techniques that a person should know in research. Applications and use of these techniques has implication to understand the human body better. Data from these techniques is useful for drug designing as well as for biomarker discovery. The content of this paper will benefit researchers, students, and clinicians. Thank you so much.